Cowboys are America. They are more than a football team. I'm moving to Dallas, and my family's moving to Dallas. We're going to be proud to be down in Dallas, and we're going to be proud to be building with Dallas and building with Texas. I know that's a cliche, but we must win. We will win. Win is the name of the game.
The road to Canton, the Texas class, starts now.
You are looking live at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio, where tonight the Dallas Cowboys will take on the Arizona Cardinals in the Hall of Fame game right here on NBC 5. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Good evening. I'm Meredith Land, live at the owner's box inside the Omni in downtown Dallas. Welcome to the road to Canton, the Texas class. There is no bigger name in professional sports than Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. Jerry will be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame this Saturday. I have covered Jerry and his family extensively for more than a decade, and I can tell you this is the honor they have dreamed of since 1989 when they bought the team. NBC5 sports director Newey Scruggs, live in Canton, Ohio with the boys. Newey, you know better than anyone, Jerry Jones has changed the way the NFL does business, period.
Jerry Jones has set the bar across not just the NFL, but all sports stadiums with his innovations and the way Jerry wants to make the fan experience even better. I've covered Jerry starting in 1993 when I was working in Austin, Texas, and the Cowboys under Jimmy Johnson were going for their second straight Super Bowl victory. I had an opportunity to talk to Jerry about going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and here's what the owner had to say.
Your football life, it's in Canton now. Is there anything else, Jerry, that you felt like you didn't accomplish in this game, in the National Football League?
Well, apart from family, there's nothing that means any more to me. Not money. I won't get emotional with you here. Certainly not money. I sometimes flare a little bit when someone says, well, you know, Jerry's all about the buck. Well, I gave all my money to get the Cowboys. I wanted the Cowboys more than I wanted money. And I've never looked back or never regretted it.
Is there one contribution, because you're going in as a contributor, that you're proud of?
Oh, I think that I am proud of involving our fans. I know that we were the first team to ever put a camera in a draft room. Our game is really followed on television and through that medium. Only 7% of our fans have ever been inside an NFL stadium. Our stadium was built because of television, not to have necessarily a great place for 100,000 people. It had to be that. But it had to be that to get Al Michaels and John Madden and people like that to say, folks, in front of 25 million people, folks, you ought to see this place. It's really something, and you ought to be here, and it does this or it does that. Right. That's why I stretched out on that stadium.
Jerry, when you leave to go to that big football place in the sky, what should I say about you? What should I say about your legacy? What do you want people to say about Gerald Wayne Jones?
Be sure, without hesitation, and tell them how much fun I've had. I've really not taken myself as seriously as a lot of people portrayed it. I haven't worked a day since I bought the Cowboys. I've been worried, and I did have some financial scares. But man, have I had a big time.
Coming up later in the show, how Jerry Jones almost didn't get his second Super Bowl championship because he was holding on to money. That story's coming up. Meredith?
I love that Emmitt Smith story. You know it. The key to his success, really. We'll see in a bit, Newey. I want to bring in Pat Doney now. You've been in Oxnard with the team. How do they look?
Yeah, the team looks good. It's always great to be in Oxnard and see the team up close. One reason, though, that this year has been special is just been hearing players' stories about Jerry Jones, their own personal interactions with him. Some of them are great, but none of them live up to what his high school teammates have to say. I traveled to Jerry's hometown in North Little Rock, Arkansas, and some of these guys shared some fantastic stories you have to hear about. At the end of Saunders Drive in the Rose City community of North Little Rock, Arkansas, a recently renovated modest house fits in with its neighbors.
Well, we had a lot of camaraderie back in those days, and we were all just a family, really.
And it's in this subtle home that Gerald Wayne Jones, the most powerful man in professional sports, spent his childhood.
I went to school with Jerry. He was a senior when I was a sophomore, and he played football and basketball. I knew his daddy had a store up on Broadway, and when I was young, my mother shopped there.
I believe he's one of the most determined people I've ever seen. And he, when he was in the 9th grade, he weighed like 100, maybe 130 pounds. But the thing about Jerry was when he hit you playing scrimmaging or anything else, he hit you with everything he had.
Eventually growing into a 205-pound punishing fullback, Jerry was offered and accepted a scholarship to play football at the University of Arkansas, and for young coach Frank Broyles, who convinced him to make the transition from running the ball to blocking as an offensive lineman.
He swings to his left, follows Brazel and Jerry Jones.
I always said when you get into tough situations, you got to have character. It's hot in Little Rock. Jerry Jones made the tackle, and Jerry stepped in the huddle and said something like this: "Men, we got to have character. We got to have character if we're going to score." And they took it in and scored.
A Texas victory over Alabama in the Orange Bowl that evening leaves the Razorbacks alone at the top of the college football world.
The decision to play football at Arkansas turned out to be a good one. In 1964, Jerry and the Razorbacks put together the finest football season in school history, going undefeated and winning the college football national championship.
It wasn't just Jerry was a member of the team. Jerry was a leader on that team. He was a big part of the gut and the grit and the determination that willed them to success and to win that national championship.
Now, more than 50 years later, the camaraderie and success Jerry had as a Razorback fuels his desire to help current University of Arkansas athletes, including building the brand new Jerry and Gene Jones Student Athlete Success Center, a facility committed to helping Razorback players earn degrees.
What was a way that the Jones family could impact not only football, they could impact all nearly 500 of our student athletes? It's in the education. It was the Jerry and Gene Jones Student Athlete Success Center, which is where we sit today.
And it sits on the Arkansas campus because of Jerry's commitment to his alma mater and his home state, a passion that began with a childhood in this modest home in North Little Rock, a tight-knit community proud to see one of their own about to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I'm just very proud that he came from Rose City, and I wish him all the luck, and proud that he's made this accomplishment.
He's made it, but yet he's still keeping his home roots, you know, and I appreciate that about him.
The folks I spoke to in Arkansas love Jerry Jones. They'll be watching closely this weekend when he speaks sixth as part of the ceremony on Saturday night.
When do the Cowboys come back to the Star in Frisco?
So they're going to go back for 2 weeks to the West Coast to Oxnard, play another preseason game against the Rams, and then return to Frisco to practice on the 21st of August.
Finish it. Thank you, Pat. All right, up next, legendary Cowboy Emmitt Smith. The story many don't really know, the contract issue that would have changed history for Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys after the break.
He was imaginative, he was creative, he would do anything that involved his own effort and his money to make a winner.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Road to Canton, Texas class. I am Newey Scruggs. That was super agent Lee Steinberg, and Jerry's first ever draft pick was Troy Aikman, and that is who Lee Steinberg represented. Jerry had no problem paying Troy. When it came to Emmitt Smith, well, Jerry was trying to hold his pocketbook even after Emmitt Smith helped the Cowboys win Super Bowl 27, and it almost cost him a chance to win Super Bowl 28. Here's the story.
Yeah! They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions.
Back in 1993, the Cowboys were coming off winning Super Bowl 27.
There's Emmett messing with Jimmy Johnson's hair.
And Emmitt Smith's deal expired. Gerald Wayne Jones was resisting the contract demands of the NFL's leading rusher. The Cowboys didn't want to pay Smith as much as Buffalo's future Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas, who set the bar for NFL running backs with a contract worth $13.5 million. Smith sat out all of training camp, and the Cowboys opened up the season with a 19-point loss in Washington and dropped to 0-2 after a sloppy home loss to the Bills, the club they had beaten by 35 points to win the Super Bowl. The losing sent defensive end Charles Haley into a rage.
I have a real explosive personality, and when I got to that volcano about ready to blow, it blew.
We all saw the frustration that the team had when Charles put his helmet through the wall and said, make sure he's here for the next game.
And I threw my helmet, and I never looked behind me. I just threw the damn helmet, and the next thing I know, people telling me that I almost hit Jerry.
With the NFL on the verge of adopting a salary cap in 1994, Jones tried to bargain with Smith. He wanted to fly from New York to Atlanta to give him his championship ring, but the 24-year-old passed on the invitation.
Emmett said, with courtesy, but said, Miss Jones, I'm going to pick my ring up is when I clean my locker up out there. Said, we're not getting it done here.
The defending champs were in a funk, and the odds of repeating were getting slimmer. No club had ever won a Super Bowl after starting the season 0-2.
He was such an important part, and we're not the same team without him.
Told Steven, I said, buckle it down. I said, it's going to hit the fan. I said, we don't have a deal with him. We're 2 games in the season, lost them both. It's going to be rough sledding as far as the criticism.
I'll say this, so Jerry got heavy blame. I was one of them blaming. But don't take my man Jimmy Johnson out of the equation on that, because in those early days, Jimmy was actually kind of the money man for Jerry. Pay him this, pay him that, pay him that.
Smith would not settle for less than being the highest paid running back in the league. He got his money after sitting at home and watching his teammates start the 1993 season winless. Smith was given a 4-year deal for $13.6 million.
Emmett had to kind of fight for his dollars.
Yeah, he had to fight for his dollars, man. And thanks to Charles Haley and reconstructing the basement of the old Texas Stadium, Emmett got his money.
He came back in week 3. The Cowboys would go on to win 7 straight games. Emmitt Smith ended the season as the NFL MVP.
Smith, and he's in. What a run! Oh my!
Won his 3rd straight rushing title and was named the MVP of Super Bowl 28.
We going to Disney World, and we going to Disneyland too.
Haley never had to throw another helmet.
However it happened, I'm just happy it happened because we needed him. He was that piece of the puzzle for us to go back to back, and I'm proud of Jerry stepping up to the plate.
It's amazing when you think about it. Amazing to think it was all over. $13.6 million. That's chump change in today's NFL. Meredith, back to you.
I knew there was no bigger deal to Cowboys fans back then. You spoke to Emmitt Smith, didn't you run into him on the plane on the way out to Canton? What does he say about it now?
Yeah, I saw him and I said, hey, we're doing a story about you having to wait to get your money. And he says, man, people think I held out. I didn't hold out. I didn't have a contract. He said, how can you hold out? Emmitt's still not happy about that. And I said, you know, these days, Jerry pays everybody because of you. And he looked at me and said, everybody.
What a story, Newey. All right, we'll check back with you in a little bit. I want to talk about the woman who will present Jerry Jones Saturday in the Hall of Fame. Jean Jones, Jerry's wife of 50 years. She has been by his side from the very beginning. She will do the honors. We caught up with their daughter, Charlotte Jones Anderson, who was also on that short list as a possible presenter. She told us she is glad her mother will have that honor.
There is no better person to enshrine my father than my mom. She has certainly been his backbone and his strength through this entire journey, and there's no one better to express the passion that he had. She certainly represents what his accomplishment is all about.
And I am told that Jean Jones taped that intro over and over. She is a perfectionist. She wants it just right. And you'll see it Saturday at the presentation. Up next, another Texan. We got to talk about LaDainian Tomlinson. A former TCU running back will also be inducted. Chris Gutierrez talks to LT. The road to Canton, the Texas class, continues right after the break.
Born and raised here in the great state of Texas, and coming back here to be a Hall of Famer now was incredible.
Former TCU running back LaDainian Tomlinson, what a legend. He's had quite a career in the NFL. He will cap it all off Saturday when he is inducted into the Hall of Fame. NBC5's News Krug joins us again from Canton. You know, LT is joining really one of his childhood idols.
Yes, man. LaDainian Tomlinson grew up wanting to be the next Emmitt Smith, and he accomplished that because he's going to join Emmitt Smith right here in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Our own Chris Gutierrez talked with LT about how this journey was not simple.
8 of 11 on third down now for the Horned Frogs. It is third down and 14.
When I walk out on this field, I have a certain smell that I used to smell before games, and the smell of grass and football.
This is where LaDainian Tomlinson
40, 45, 50, midfield, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10.
became LT.
LaDainian Tomlinson scores.
You know, it brings back great memories. It really does.
Tomlinson again, left side. He'll get in for the score. LT scores.
When you take the field for the first time in this stadium and it's electric, you are ready to run through a wall.
It's hard to imagine the ball not in LT's hands, but his road to stardom started with a humbling lesson from his high school coach in Waco.
He said, no, we have enough running backs. I need you to play fullback and outside linebacker. Whoa, you know, and so for the next 2 years, I played fullback and outside linebacker. Fast forward my senior year, the summer going into my senior year, my head coach called me back in the office and said, son, you have done everything that we have asked you to do for this football team. It is your turn. I'm going to give you the football as much as possible. And he did. My senior year, started out with 6 touchdowns my first game. That next week, TCU came to my high school, offered me a scholarship, and the rest was history.
But TCU football in the mid to late 90s wasn't anything like it is today.
We won one game my freshman year, SMU.
At least you beat them.
The last game.
But now, think of how far this program has come.
Yeah.
And for people to say that you're a big part of it.
Yeah.
LaDainian is by far one of the most popular Horned Frogs in school history.
It's a sprint to the 40, to the 30, 25.
He owns all of the football team's rushing records. And as new facilities are built, his image still looms large.
But I got the right guy on the wall.
As a student at TCU, I remember watching LT.
November of 1999, I was sitting right up there. UTEP.
Yeah.
You were in the zone.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Absolutely.
How could you forget, right?
Yeah, how can I forget? It was, I remember a touchdown just going up the middle here on a little smoke draw.
Tomlinson ran for a college single-game record 406 yards.
Runs the option. Here's Printers pitching to LT to the 10 to the 5. Oh, they can't get him. Breaks 3 tackles.
And scored 6 touchdowns.
It was all about the dream, Chris. You know, every day, I'm telling you, I don't think there was anybody like me as a kid that dreamed about it as much as I did. I slept with a football. That's how much I dreamed about it.
And he's proving dreams do come true as a member of this year's Pro Football Hall of Fame class.
Wow, it is truly amazing. I mean, because Chris, no one sets out when they're kids to say, hey, I'm gonna go to the Hall of Fame one day.
The TCU Journalism School helped me dig up old newspaper articles.
This should be fun.
This should be good, right? All right, so just take a look at that page there.
Okay.
You recognize that young man?
I do.
Who's that?
That is me.
That's you, huh?
Yeah.
Look above the fold there. Who's that cat with the soccer ball up there? Look up top.
Oh, I think some guy named Chris Gutierrez.
What number am I wearing?
5,
Number
baby.
5,
Number
man.
5.
2 number 5s on 2 struggling teams.
And the Horned Frogs lost 2 conference games this weekend. So, at least we had something in common, right? A lot in common.
Here's the thing. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
It's how you finish,
right?
absolutely.
We know where you are.
Yeah.
The jury's still out on me.
But it's where he started that's led him to where he is today.
And so I went into that high school thinking, I'm gonna be the running back. There's no question about it. Coach said, nah, you're fullback. And so, but you know what, Chris? I think about it, and you know, when I'm coaching my kid and your kid, our kids on our flag football team, those are some of the life lessons that I hope to teach our kids, that's what sports is all about.
And that was Chris Gutierrez reporting. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The Cowboys take on the Arizona Cardinals in the Hall of Fame game next right here on NBC5, and we'll see you after the game. Good night.